I want to immediately go across on the ground. Joining me is journalist Rohit Sharma for the latest and specifically for this convention in Chicago. This was the final day, day 4 of the convention that's taken place. We have seen Biden's, Obama's, Clinton's, former presidents, sitting president who've spoken. Rohit, I bring in you here. Good morning, Indian Standard Time. I would say that was a very carefully crafted speech, isn't it? And I think I haven't heard Kamala Harris speak this strongly with this power and authority earlier. And perhaps all of this was intentional, the chosen words, the vision. And when she said, we are not going back to Donald Trump's era, tell us more about the sentiment and the mood on the ground on this.
Well, look, I think this was a job cut out for her. I mean, as you said, it was a very rousing speech. She was very critical of the Trump administration. Or Trump's policies, Project 2025. I think she hit all the right notes as far as making sure that she could galvanize her base. She was also trying to make sure that she's speaking directly to the independent voters. We talk about these independent voters who are in the swing states. And I think, some of the lines and some of the things that she said were actually, towards making sure that the independent voters in those swing states take note of what she's saying. Also, very importantly, for Kamala Harris, the first thing that she had to do was to do no damage. I think she did a very good job delivering this speech. But, presenting the vision, talking about veterans, talking about immigration, talking about abortion, talking about her own life story in America as a daughter of an immigrant mother. I think she did what she was cut out to do. And I think, I don't think she did any damage. But again, the task ahead from now on it's a difficult one. And I think she realizes it. And that's what we've seen in the speeches even from Obama, both the Obamas and Clinton, they want people to go out and vote. We were talking about polling the other day and, how she's leading in some of these polls. But to be very honest with you, at this point in time, these polls are within the margin of error. They really do not mean much. I would like to, sort of draw attention to 2016. But at this point in time, in 2016, Hillary Clinton was actually leading by 8.2% nationally, and she still ended up losing that election. So a lot for Kamala, at stake. She has to still energize the base. The odds are actually stacked against her. America's never elected a female president. She only had 100 days to, get this campaign up and running, decide her policy decisions. Some of them we've seen, she's backpedaled some of them from, Biden's policies. She's also trying to appeal to those Muslim American voters, who said they're not going to vote for her because until a ceasefire is reached in Michigan. So a lot for Kamala at stake here. We'll definitely see some more bump in polling going forward in a couple of days.
Have to say, Rohit, that whatever said and done, compared to Joe Biden, she was definitely more coherent, clear. The manner in which she addressed the vision of what the Democrats are aiming for. And, when she said, it was very interesting that she had it categorized from what I heard. She referred to the women voters with regard to how they did not have the abortion rights as much as they had earlier and how Donald Trump had changed a lot of it. And then said it could, in fact, become worse with regard to the medicines provided and the medical health of women specifically. Then she referred very clearly about the Israel-Palestine issue, saying Israel has a right to defend itself. Palestinians also have a right to freedom. So she's catering to, of course, very vocal support and polarized debate there. And plus, there are a lot of members of the Jewish community who are very powerful in authority there in the USA. And then she also referred to the minority voting group, that she's the child of immigrants, how the kind of journey she's had has been great because of the United States of America. So do you think it was very clear who she was aiming for? Because there are a lot within this Israel-Palestine issue, for example, who support Donald Trump, even from the minority immigrant group who support Donald Trump.
You're right, Pooja. I've been on the ground speaking to a lot of people. I remember, I've spoken to people in Chicago. I've spoken to people, which is a blue, like it's as blue as it can get in America. So I've met people who are still thinking about, they're undecided. Some people said they're going to vote for Trump. Look, I think she's trying to, sort of get back to the coalition that got President Obama elected in 2008. Minority voters, young voters, women voters, suburban voters. And I think she was trying to do that. And I think that's the only pathway for her to win this election. Also, as far as women right is concerned, it definitely is a big issue when it comes to even in swing states. I think it's polling well. But one thing that she left out of the speech, and like she talked about all these things, people would want to know specific policies. I don't think we've seen a lot of policy measures that have come out or released from her campaign. So you can talk about, fixing the immigration, and you can talk about comprehensive immigration reform. But what does that mean? How does that help people? Will she even have 60 senators to vote for it?
Yes,
and
Rohit, stay on with me because we also have our foreign affairs editor, Geeta Mohan, on this. Geeta, I would say that's a very interesting speech, isn't it? Carefully crafted, specific groups mentioned, and very direct and crisp, not mincing words. What do you make of this speech by Kamala Harris compared to Donald Trump?
Well, I think the one hugely different, vastly different, Pooja, almost incomparable. But the fact is that Donald Trump knew exactly what he wanted to say. He was riding on a high after the assassination attempt. So his speech, his entire idea and what he wanted to say or project was very different from Kamala Harris, who comes after a longer period of campaigning, looking at what the country is looking like. And like Rohit and I were discussing yesterday, Pooja, day 1, day 2, day 3, we were still waiting to see whether they're going to only continue talking about areas where there's strong political violence, the intelligence reports that were stolen, decency, respect, so on and so forth, or abortion rights, reproductive rights for women? Or are they also going to then thrust upon things that are actually what a lot of others really want to know, which really puts the Biden-Harris camp on a weak spot and weak footing, which is economy. How is she going to handle that? Employment, jobs, the foreign policy, border. But Kamala Harris, Pooja, did address all those issues as well. A very strong statement in border.
And at least has she jumped the first barrier? Because many thought, does she even stand a chance against Donald Trump? Has she been able to reach out to the voters watching? And she addressed that people across political views are listening. Geeta, Rohit, thank you very much for now.